Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a little bit traveling to China or actually planning a trip to China. I have a Finnish passport and with that passport you can travel about 176 countries without visa. Unfortunately, China is not one of them, so I need to have a visa to go to China. And there is so many different kind of visas, so you should always do your own research and check it out what kind of visa you will need. uh, I have family related visa because my wife is Chinese and she don't need any visa, of course, just passport. And our 5 months old son, he has a Finnish passport, but he also don't need visa, but he needs what is called travel document, and that can be get from Chinese embassy. So in our family, we need three different kind documents to go to China. And the second thing you should consider when traveling to China is VPN. In China, you cannot access most of the Western apps like Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp. All of those are blocked. So to get access, you need a VPN. And actually, it's good to have at least two VPNs, one as a backup, because they don't work always, and some works better in different areas and other works better in other areas. So get VPN because you're gonna need your own apps that you are familiar with. Even Google Maps, you cannot check where to go if you don't have VPN. Next thing I want to talk about is cash and payments. Uh, in China, most places they don't accept accept cash, or they do, but they don't have any changes to give back to you. So you have to have always exact amount because everyone use there's basically two different payment apps. One is WeChat and one other one is Alipay, and everyone pays with those. And before it was quite difficult for tourists because you couldn't use those apps without Chinese bank account, and to have Chinese bank account you need a Chinese address. So and of course you couldn't use a hotel's address. But nowadays, both WeChat and Alipay allows you to connect your foreign credit card or debit card to those apps, and you can pay anywhere with those. So that's so much easier now. And about price levels, many things in China is much more cheaper compared to many Western countries, like food, restaurants, traveling, and so on. But there is also expensive areas, expensive hotels. So, but in general, it's quite cheap to do things in China. That's nice. And to travel to China, you need, of course, plane tickets if you are planning to go by plane. And at the moment, we live in Finland, and the most shortest way to fly to China from Finland is over to Russia. But Russia has this Ukrainian war going, so they don't allow any European airlines to use their airspace. We checked many flights from Europe. There is still direct flights, but they last like 13, 14 hours. So we booked a flight from Chinese airline because Chinese airlines they are still allowed to fly over the Russian airspace. So we booked that, and now the flight time is 8.5 hours or something like that. So that's nice, especially when we are traveling with a little kid. First trip as a family by plane. So it's nice that we have direct flight, and okay, it's still a long flight, but not super long. So let's hope everything will go nice and smoothly. And one thing also in China is the language. English is not very widely spoken. Almost maybe in some universities, some students will speak English, but like taxi drivers or in restaurants, nobody speaks any English. So uh, and if you don't speak any Chinese, then it's a good idea to download some kind of translation apps. Nowadays they are quite good, and yeah, those helps a lot. And China is a huge country, and the climate can change depending on where are you in China. So you should always do your research and check what's the climate and weather where you are going. But in general, most of the year, most of the areas in China are quite nice weather. Winter months in north of China, it can get quite cold, but yeah, there is it's a big country. There is everything like mountains, rivers, jungles, tropical beaches, big cities, small villages, everything between. So yeah, take those on your mind when you are traveling there. And traveling inside China, there is a really good network of flights and trains. But if you want to rent a car, back in the days, it was quite difficult. Actually, foreigners couldn't rent just a car. If you wanted to rent a car, you also had to hire a driver. But nowadays, you can rent, you can get it's not Chinese driving license, but some kind of driving license that is valid as long as your visa is valid, and you can use that to drive there. So now it's much more convenient with that. And of course, medicines, insurances, you should check those. Like you are traveling, no matter where you're going. Yeah, it's always good to check, especially if you are traveling with little kids. You should check if your insurance company uh, allows your kid to be under your insurance, or does he or she need a separate one. And medicines always good to take. If you need something, take from your home country. It's much more easier that way. And yeah, less than 2 weeks we are going to China for 1 month. And first we are flying to Shanghai, and we are planning to be there a few days, then take a train to Shenzhen, be there a few days, maybe go to Hong Kong, then come back to China and be a couple more days in Shenzhen. Then we are planning to take a flight to Chongqing and spend another few days there maybe. And from Chongqing, we are going to my wife's parents' place near Wanzhou, and we are going to be there like 2 weeks, probably 10 days at least, or something like that. And from there, fly back to Shanghai, and from Shanghai back to Finland. So it's going to be a lot of traveling also inside China. Thanks for watching my video, and if you want to see our family traveling in China, please subscribe my channel, and yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye.